What's up? This is El Diablo Gabriel Fuerza, and you're watching Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
You are listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Apter Seal of Approve Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. My name is Tyler. I am joined as always by the one and only Mike. And Mike, what a weekend we just had.
I'm not feeling too good, man.
No, do you have a fever?
I've got a fever.
Is there anything I can get you to help with this fever?
More cowbell.
Bam, 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 bam. That's all we can do. We'll get to the rest of the song. We are coming off a incredibly successful event, Cowbell Championship Wrestling. We are going to talk all about that in just a moment. But first, how about some huge news for next week's show?
Let me just preface this by saying, is there any way in hell a week ago you've been like, there's going to be bigger news than the fact that we just promoted our very first show? There's no way you get bigger news than that. And here we are about to give you bigger news than that.
Yeah, we are going to be joined for a very special interview next week by what you could probably consider possibly to be the biggest guest in the history of Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
We've had a lot of talks on this show about who the greatest tag teams are of all time. Names like the Dudleys have come up. Names,
Rock and Roll Express, Heart
Rock and Roll
Foundation,
Express, of course, the
Bulldogs,
Legion of Doom.
Usos.
But the team we're about to mention is in every single one of these conversations. It doesn't matter who you are, you have to talk about these guys as one of the greatest tag teams in the history of professional wrestling.
And of course, we are talking about the current TNA Tag Team Champions. Matt and Jeff Hardy will be on Count It Out with Mike and Tyler next week. I am so excited for this. So, for me personally, I am a day one Hardy Boys fan. I have people that listen to this show, and I'm gonna name drop right now: Kerr Wilson, anyone that knew me in public school.
Like, wait, when you say day one, you're talking like checkered
I'm
pants.
talking checkered pants, 1998 Sunday Night Heat feud with Too Cool. That's when I became a Hardy Boys fan.
Even the Michael Hayes era.
I love the Michael Hayes era. I mean, I vividly remember when they beat the Acolytes for their first ever tag team titles. I remember exactly where I was. I was in my bedroom at my mom's house. I was in grade 10 or 11, depending on what year that was. I think that was no, that was 99. I was in grade 9, and I remember just bugging out. I was jumping up and down, screaming, running through the halls. My mom was like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I was like, "The Hardy Boys just won the tag titles." Like, it was crazy for me, and so I'm
I
I'm very excited to be joined by
I
Matt and Jeff.
I did go through a phase because I wore really baggy pants for a while because that was the phase in the the fad in the 90s. I did go through a phase where I started like folding them at the bottom and yanking them up so that they would look like flood pants almost, because that's what Matt and Jeff were doing at the time. They were wearing them a little short at the bottoms but
Hmm.
still baggy. So I started doing that for a while, man. They were fat, like fashion, like you wanted to look like the Hardys back then, man.
100%. They were so cool, and they are still cool to this day, man. Matt and
And
Jeff.
let's throw a big shout out to Lita for that too.
Yeah.
Team Extreme in general was one of the hottest parts of the Attitude Era. When I look back, we talk about this all the time. I look back at the Attitude Era with not the rosiest colored glasses. I don't have the fondest memories of the Attitude Era now, looking back. But one of the things that I still look back and love is the Hardy Boys. It's Team
Hmm.
Extreme. They were fun. They were exciting. The tag team division in general at that point in time was one of the hottest that it's ever been.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a lot. They had a lot
I'm
of
very
dark
excited.
horse. They had a lot of dark horse teams around that time too. Like Right to Censor was putting on good matches.
Mhm.
Too Cool, the Holly Cousins. Like the tag team division was deep in the Attitude Era. New Age
TN,
Outlaws.
yep.
But yeah,
I'm Justin Albert.
Teston Albert. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So huge news there. And to honor the Hardy Boys coming on the show this week, I am finally going to be counting down the top 7 cinematic matches of all time later today in the show.
Mhm.
But in the immortal words of Julie Chen, my big brother spirit animal. But first, let's talk a little Cowbell Championship Wrestling. I want to send a
What a weekend.
huge thank you to everybody that came out to support the show. We know Adam, good friend Adam Content, came and drove out to the show. A lot of my friends from high school who I didn't know were going to be there ended up coming out to the
That was
show.
cool. Yeah.
Wilson was a great MVP driving us to the show and
Hmm.
just being there for all the
Just
needs and
just
helping in
just
general.
doing what Wilson does.
Wearing his red shirt and all. If you know, you know.
We don't
Um,
talk about Wilson on this show enough. For those who don't know, Wilson just pops up
well,
when Wilson feels to pop up. He goes to a lot of the Barry shows. But the thing is, with what Wilson does is you don't need to ask Wilson for help ever. All of a sudden, he can read your mind. Whatever needs to be done, Wilson's already doing it,
mhm.
and he doesn't ask for praise. He doesn't ask for admiration. He just does, and he's happy to do it. He is one of the you know driving members of our team that we don't talk about enough because he's not one of the guys who's on this screen all the time. But we couldn't do Count It Out without Wilson because he's just at the end of the day he's our biggest fan. I couldn't be happier to have Wilson at these shows with us, and I would have been upset if he wasn't at Cowbell.
Yeah, he's Mr. Reliable. So there's your flowers, Wilson. He's been my one of my best friends since public school. So I've known him since I was in kindergarten. So yeah, it was cool to have Wilson there. That was great. The incredible staff at Cowbell Brewery, they went above and beyond.
Ridiculous.
They were phenomenal.
I can't speak highly enough about their crew. They were all just wonderful people.
So how much are we pulling back the curtain today on the day? Like what do you want where's your vision here? Like
If you're asking my personal opinion, I'll pull it all the way back. There's nothing I won't talk about.
all right.
Whatever there's to me, there's no secrets. The only thing I'll keep on her, like if there's anything private about a wrestler or something like that, something we think
Yeah.
might have been private that we don't have the right to talk about, which I don't think happened too many times. We won't talk about it, but um, sorry, but for the most part, as far as the production, the day, the way everything flowed, the way the goods, the bads, all that stuff. We did have one incident that we might talk about, but we're not going to name names out of respect for those people. But I want to pull the curtain back. Everything else, I want people to see how the sausage is made.
So let's get right into the day then. We're not gonna like recap, we're gonna recap
No, we're
our
not.
day and our
Yeah,
experience and just the love
yeah,
that
we're
we
not going to
felt.
recap the show. We're going to recap our experience of the day. Yeah.
It was a long day. I was in the car with Wilson at
You
6 a.m.
you picked me up at 6:40.
Yeah. And we made our way down to the Cowbell Brewery, which is about a 3-hour drive for
I was just
us.
about to say, I want everybody to realize that you left your house at 6 a.m. I left my house at 6:40 a.m.
Yeah.
We arrived at Cowbell at
About 9:30.
9,
No.
yeah, 9:15. Like,
Yeah, and we did
yeah.
not. I did not get home until 10 p.m., so it was a
Mhm.
long day.
It was a long day.
We showed up. The venue was beautiful. They really gave us a great layout. Beautiful locker room for the wrestlers. A lot of fun, and we got right.
That's an understatement. That locker room, it was massive, by the way. It was twice the size of my first apartment.
Yeah,
Uh, there was a pool table,
shuffleboard.
a shuffleboard table, several couches that Gabriel Ferwerza loved having. He was a sleepy boy. Tables, chairs, you name it, everything that we needed was there. And if it wasn't there, Jeremy or somebody else on his crew got it for us. They were
Yeah,
just so accommodating the whole time.
So I was pretty laid back the whole day. I was just stressed. I said, as long as the ring gets here, I can handle anything else that comes my way. That was kind of my mind frame, except for the weather. It was an outdoor show. We were
See,
scared.
see, you worded it wrong. You said, I just want the ring to get here. What you should have said was, I want the ring truck crew to get here.
Yeah, we'll tell that story. We'll tell that story later as well. That was a fun, interesting moment of the day. I want to just give a couple shout outs to some people too. First of all, Peter for helping organize everything.
Yeah.
Amanda was an
Amanda was the
MVP of the
MVP of the
day.
day. There was nothing going to stop her from making this the best show Cowbell has ever put on. If I'm not mistaken, she is their social media manager, and she was just, I think it was her job just to make sure this was a successful show, and she made sure that that was the case. It was also your friend Jeremy. It was his brainchild, so he was also very hands on in making it. But she treated it like it was her baby just as much as Jeremy's,
Well, yeah,
and and I really appreciated that.
and so I'll like to just tell the story how the show kind of came together. Is Jeremy is a friend of mine. We've known each other since high school, and life gets busy, so we never like had like we're not talking anymore. We just went different
Yeah,
ways in life. He moved one place, I moved another place, so and so and so, and we just fell out of contact. And then we reconnected in a good friend of ours' wedding party. We were both in the same wedding party, and I told him I was doing ring announcing in Barrie. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to come up and watch you." And sure enough, he came up the next month, and it just happened to be the show where Tid had his retirement match
mm-hmm.
in Barrie. I don't know if it was his full-on retirement match, but I know it was his Barrie
I
retirement
I
match.
remember that. Yeah.
And him and Custom worked Jake O'Reilly and Tornado, and Custom came out wearing a Cowbell Brewery hat. And Jeremy works at Cowbell Brewery. He's the brewmaster. And he was like, holy shit, that's my beer. He struck up a friendship with Custom. And Jeremy had this idea in the back of his head of, I think Custom and Jeremy talked about it. And Custom's like, you got to do a wrestling show up there, man. The place is beautiful. And here we are 4 years later, and it happened. So
Yeah.
that was Jeremy's vision. He messaged me and said, do you want to do this? And I said, sure. And
The trust Cowbell put into our hands too. I can't tell you how valuable that was, because they never put any governors or restraints on us. They never told us what we could or couldn't do. There was it's a family friendly show, so don't cover the place in blood, and none of this isn't GCW. Other than that, there was no restraints.
Mhm.
So you and I got to book who we wanted. We weren't told who to book, who not to book. We weren't told how many matches, what kind of matches, anything. This was 100% our show. So for them to give us that kind of freedom and power and responsibility went a long way with me. It really showed their trust.
Yeah, and I think that we put together an incredible locker room. We had so
Mm.
much fun all day with everybody.
My favorite
Uh,
locker room I've ever been in. I can't stress that enough.
yeah, and I want to give a special shout out to especially the Stratosphere. That that
Yes.
guy
I
was
love him so much.
he was one of the MVPs of the day.
Oh, was
He
he
was
ever?
out there a lot, and he was so entertaining and so funny. Kyle and Shiloh as well. Fuerza, the heels of our show. They were all so entertaining.
The main event heel team. Our main event became was a 6-man, what we called a Hazy Days barroom brawl, which was basically a street fight. And the heel team for this was Stratos, Kyle, and Fuerza. And I call them the heel team, but they were really the comedy team.
Oh, they were
They
so entertaining.
were the three most entertaining people at the entire show. Now, that's
And Sh
saying something, because
and
there was still,
Shiloh as well
yeah,
was
because there was
fantastic.
still other, like Shiloh was hilarious. Kingsley was highly entertaining that afternoon. As always, the incomparable Cash Jordan. He did his job and did it well. Everybody was entertaining, but as far as the stuff that made you and I break, I I'm in the middle of the ring, and I wanted to play it off. I wanted to work, right? I didn't want to laugh at Stratos, but I can't help it. I guarantee there's times where I'm trying to do my job and I've got a smile from ear to ear looking at Stratos in the face.
Absolutely.
What and he purposely broke me at one point because I think he could tell I was feeling a little bad about myself. I fucked up a spot a little bit. I stuttered um giving what's his name, Bryce Hanson, his entrance. I stuttered listing off his nickname and hometown and stuff. I have a bad stutter. I always have, and I was hoping it wasn't going to come out at the show. For the most part, I think it was okay, but it came out here. Stratos is there as the manager, as you would say, to Fuerza in this match, and he just looks at me and goes, "Don't you fucking stutter, boy!" And I broke right there. I broke.
He's so funny.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy ring announcing, your ring announcing debut?
At the end of the day, now that it's all done, I feel very good about it.
You did a great job.
I think I exceeded even my own expectations. I think I did well. Um, during the day, I did not feel like that at all. I, you know me, man. Every time I exited the ring, I said, "Well, I fucked that one up. I could have done that better." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
That's what you and I do
yeah,
all the time.
at the end of the day, I talked to every wrestler. They were all happy with with what I did for them. They were all very gracious and gave me the information that I needed to help them. So, because that's really at the end of the day, and you know this better than anybody, that's really our job. Our job isn't to announce the match. Our job is to make people want to watch this match, make the people that are about to come out for this match as interesting as possible. So we need them to help us to make that happen. They were all great with it, and I talked to them all, make sure that you know I did what they wanted, and they were all happy. So yeah, would I do this again? 100%.
Yeah,
If
well,
you know,
if
if somebody called me tomorrow and said I don't have a ring announcer and I was available, I'd probably go.
I turned to Adam, who's also a ring announcer. He came to the show. A good friend, Adam Content, does Rock Solid Wrestling. Shout out Rock Solid Wrestling. I turned to him and I said, I think you had just done your Van Landen entrance. And I walked over to him. I said, "Damn, man." I go, if this Mike guy keeps doing such a good job at this, you and I are going to be out of work." And he had a good laugh at that. We were in the ring for the finals of the Count Out Cup, and Van Landen was in that. And you did your Van Landen, and he hit his pose, and he walked back to the corner, and you started announcing the next person. And I looked at Van, and I just happened to be standing beside him. I go, "Hey," this rookie, he doesn't do too bad of a Van Landen, eh?" And he was like, "Hell yeah, brother!" Like he was.
Well, during my first thing, because I did Van Landen 3 times during the day. His initial entrance, his victory for that match, and then his entrance for the finals of the tournament. I could have done it a fourth time when I was announcing what the main event, what that match was going to be. I told the crowd, I was reminding the crowd what the 4-way was, and I thought about doing the Van Landen, and I'm like, I'm saving this one.
Yeah,
I'm just,
gotta save it.
I gotta save it. So I didn't do it a fourth time. But my very first one, I didn't see this. Until yesterday when you sent me the video. I didn't hear it. I didn't know about it. Then you sent me the video, and during his initial entrance, you took a video of that. And as he's walking by, I hear you say, "That's a pretty damn good Van Landen."
Yeah, it wasn't too shabby,
And
man.
I'm not going to be honest, man. That made me smile big because honestly, coming from you of all people, that's high fucking praise because
Well,
you are the man known for the Van Landen.
I was impressed. I thought you did a great job, and I'm happy you had fun doing it. It is a lot of fun out there. What was your highlight of the day? Do you have a couple highlights that stand out for you?
Um, if we're just talking about the show itself, the main event is one of the funnest, stupidest things I've ever been involved in. Um, more than one crowd member and Adam all said that this feels like old school ECW, which I took as a high compliment because there was no blood, it wasn't extra violent, nothing like that. They didn't mean that. It was that fun ECW, that feel of it. Because they were using weapons, but they weren't going crazy about it. They were having fun, slamming each other all over the place. there was humor because for 80% of the match, Gabriel Fuerza had a hot dog sticking out of his mouth.
Well, he was eating a hot dog during the
He
match.
ate his entire lunch during this match. So all that, but then in one of my favorite spots of the entire day, we went New Jack. Because Marcus Ryan, Uncle Custom, grabs the mic, declares, actually, I think it was Mikey.
Yeah, Mikey Jenkins grabbed the
Mikey
mic.
Jenkins declared that he had a fever. They start playing Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper. If you don't get that gag, you don't get that joke. If you're young, just go to YouTube, type in SNL
I need more cowbell.
cowbell, yeah, and you'll get it. But or write Christopher Walken cowbell. That's what'll do it for you. But then Don't Fear the Reaper plays, and then we don't turn it off. It played for the rest of the match, and that gave it that extra ECW feeling. I loved it.
That was
So from a match standpoint, from a show standpoint, that's my highlight. I have a couple other highlights backstage, but that was my big.
I will give myself a pat on the back for that. That spot was the only spot I insisted out of the entire day. I was like, listen, can you guys please put this spot in your match? Because I had a few of the guys come up to me because I was kind of working like the backstage area and you were doing the out front area. And I had a couple guys come up to me and be like, hey, like, what do you want from me out of the match tonight? Like, what are you looking for? And I had said the same answer every single time. I trust you 100%. I'm not a wrestler. I am not going to tell you how to wrestle. I said,
Yeah.
you're here because you're good at what you do.
If
You
we
go
were
out there.
running, if we were running weekly or monthly shows, and we had visions in mind of storylines and stuff like that, it's a little different. But when you're doing an annual show or even a one-off show, like this show could be one or the other, you really just have to put your trust in, you don't, because you're not running stories, you're not telling this big elaborate thing, so you don't need all that stuff. The best way to run that show is just to put your trust in the talent. Don't tell them how to do their fucking job. Let them do what you paid them to do and entertain those people. Because at the end of the day, that's what you did. You didn't pay them to wrestle. You paid them to make sure that crowd goes home happy. And holy shit, did that crowd go home happy?
Yeah, it was really fun. That spot was really fun. I'm glad we got that in there, and the talent made it work phenomenally. Let's talk about the Counted Out Cup. I thought it was an incredible tournament from what I saw. I
The
didn't.
counted out cups.
Yes, it's multiple pieces now. It's not did not survive. Did not survive the day.
There are 4 of them now.
Did not did not make it through the show, but give it up for our inaugural Counted Out Cup winner, and he will be a future guest on the show. But Mr. Bryce Hansen, who is setting the world on fire.
I'm going to say the cheesiest thing I've ever said on the show. I'm going to give it up to all 8 Canada Cup winners. It took those 8 people to make that tournament happen.
It was a great tournament,
and I could not be happier with the way it turned out. We had 5 great matches with 8 amazing people, and I that tournament changed a lot over the course of the last 3-4 months. It didn't end up the way it was booked initially because people dropped out, people came in, things happened. No regrets whatsoever. The way it turned out in the end is the way it was supposed to be. Everything just, anything that frustrated you and I through the last few months is now gone because it's just the way it was supposed to happen. That's what had to happen for us to have this perfect show. And that tournament just turned out so amazingly. The four initial matches were all great. That 4-way was so fun. Bryce Hansen holding the trophy, enjoying that moment with so much of his family in the crowd was a great moment, not only for us, but I know for him. And I'm going to talk about this in a few minutes. I want to talk about me and Bryce's conversation, but Bryce was very open and candid to me upstairs for a while doing his best Val Venus impression. He was just walking around in a towel for this entire conversation. And he just told me how much it meant to him that, half that crowd out there was for him. And he wasn't telling me that in this like boastful, oh yeah, I brought the crowd. It wasn't like that. It was, man, my family's out there. Like they got to come and see me do this, and I live down the road. And he did. He had me. I don't think he gets booked from Listool like everywhere else. Like I don't know where he
No,
usually gets
no.
booked from, but he's from Listool, Ontario, which is just down the street from Blythe.
20 minutes.
And when I asked him, I said, where do you want me to hail you from tonight, man? And he says, can you say just down the road at Listool, Ontario? I'm like, fuck, that's genius. 100%. And when I announced that, all I had to say was just down the road, and the crowd knew what I was talking about. And then they started going. Speaking of which, the crowd popped for every Canadian city. I
Yeah.
said I said Cornwall, they went nuts. I said Vaughan, they went nuts. I said Buffalo, nothing. sorry, Jay Lee.
I think it was cool that we had people from Canada, United States, and Australia on the show as well.
Yeah.
That was really cool for me. Um,
One small regret, I was really looking forward to doing Kingsley's entrance because she has a very unique entrance and she has cool things that she wants me to say for it.
yeah, like the
But
siren. What is it? The song siren or
the
something
song
like
siren or
that.
something like that. Yeah, I forgot. I have it written down. But she says instead of hailing from, it's tuning in from Melbourne,
Yeah,
Australia, and very very fun stuff.
yeah.
And
She was phenomenal on the show.
and so I was ready, and I'm ready to have fun with this one, right? But we had a slight timing issue with the entrance. So, and there was a promo involved in this. So right before I'm about to do it, Shiloh looks at me and says, "No, I have something to say," and she steals my mic, which turned out amazingly, by the way. Like it couldn't have gone better. It all worked out. So when that's done, I'm like, well, I could still do her entrance, but it doesn't make sense anymore because she's already down here and blah blah blah. So I made the audible, I made the call. I said I'm not going to do the entrance, and I think that was the right call. But God, I wish I would have been able to call that entrance because so hopefully I work a show one day with her on it because I would love to be able to do that for her.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun. Shiloh was fun. So we did a spot where, as we were presenting Bryce Hanson with the Counted Out Cup, Kyle Flair's Shiloh and Stratos all attacked Bryce and took the cup, and we were to run out of the ring. And I wasn't thinking really much of it. Like I wasn't taking my time to get out of there, but
Yeah.
I went to step through the rope and I look over and Shiloh is like lunging towards me and it caught me off guard. I was like, oh, so like I like tumbled out of the ring. I fell on my ass and then I look up and she's like
So good.
between the ropes, like, oh, and I was
So
like,
good.
oh, it was so funny. Yeah, she was phenomenal.
I, I'll give a little bit more flowers to Bryce Hanson for something that he did after the show, just to show his like love and respect for everything that we did that day. Even though during that match, the trophy got destroyed. And when I say destroyed, it broke into four pieces somehow. Isaiah Prince does not know the strength of his own hands because he did nothing. I don't know if it's on camera somewhere, but he did nothing.
He
All
literally
he
just put
did,
it down.
he touched it and it shattered.
Strong boy.
But here's what Bryce did though. After the show, Bryce is walking around with the remains of this trophy. The base is gone, half the stem is gone, but he's got the cup part and he's just walking around with it. I'm the Counted Out Cup winner. That's me. And he went back to the crowd and he started taking pictures with the cup.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I think there's a lot of people being like, it looks like shit. Like that cup's destroyed. I'm not going to take pictures of that trophy. Not him, man. He was proud. Like he was so proud to be able to hold that, saying, "Look what I did." And we're just counted out, man. like to me, it's like it's almost comical that we named a championship after ourselves. But
Gotta get that rub, brother.
gotta get that rub. Like it's but you know what I mean? It's almost comical that we've done that, yet somebody actually took it and said, "This means something to me." that meant a lot to me. Bryce Hanson quickly became one of my favorite people. Before you tell, because I don't want to forget this. Before you go on to any stories you have, can I tell a really quick story? Because and this story will pop a good friend of ours and an avid, longtime day one listener, Rob Arbick. So we're in the back, and I'm just talking to the guys. It was me, Van Landen, probably Travis, and Bryce, and we're just telling stories and stuff like that. And Van said something about Timmins, Ontario. And Bryce goes, fuck Timmins. I'm never going to Timmins again. Oh, shit. And then Van goes, what do you have against Timmins? He goes, last time I went to Timmins, that Rob guy got me so drunk I was hungover for 3 days.
Pop, I like that.
I died. I look over, I'm like fan Rob? Like Rob Arbick? He goes, yeah, that's the guy. I'm like, dude, I lost it. I'm like, yeah, that tracks.
Which, by the way, thank you for our beers, Rob. We
Yes,
appreciated
thank you.
that.
I
We
did text
appreciated
him
that.
saying thank you. Yeah.
Um, I'll just tell one story, and it was a fun one. It was my only stressful point of the day. So,
Here we
uh,
go.
uh, so just a little bit of backstory. Just because we were with this big company, like we all were signing waivers, just just liability waiver, very basic stuff, nothing crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
But no talent was allowed to get in the ring until everything was signed off, and we had no issues with it. So I had known that Custom and Mikey were going to be late to the show. They had well informed me that they were going to be late, and I was like, no problem at all, guys. Like they're phenomenal. They were true pros the whole time. So when I say
Mhm.
this story, it's all out of fun. It's all out of love. It's all out of one of my favorite memories of the show. To get to the ring from the dressing room was a little bit unique. It was quite a far walk because we were so basically this brewery is massive, and we were upstairs in this little private room, but downstairs is an entire restaurant that is absolutely packed, and we would have to walk from upstairs
And
down this
I didn't get to
long.
see that. I was so curious of what the reactions of the actual restaurant patrons that
That's
weren't
what I'm.
involved in the
Yeah,
show.
that's what I'm
Like
trying
like
to
like
get to.
like I was so curious all day. I couldn't wait till the end of the show to go and ask you what was that like, because I was outside, you were inside. Um,
So
you have to describe that for us.
we're like literally to get to the ring, and I'll say for the first match because that was probably the funniest one. The first match was Kaz Jordan against Alexia Nicole.
Mhm.
They both have incredible gear. Like Kaz has this
Yes.
huge white
Fur coat.
fur coat. Alexia's got her face painted. She's got like this great looking tights on. Like her gear looks phenomenal. She's got this like a robot arm looking like piece, like jacket piece.
She is bionic.
She looks like $1 million. And so I go, okay, guys, let's go start the show. So the three of us start walking down, and it's just like this big winding staircase, and it leads right to this restaurant that is completely full of
Yeah.
people. Like it is packed. And it's like you could just almost hear everybody just stop and stare at us. Like, what? Everyone's just like, what the fuck is going on? I look at Alexia and we look at each other, we're like, this isn't awkward at all, right? It was really funny. Like we all were laughing about it. So I the show had started and Custom and Mikey still weren't there, which again wasn't anything like I was not prepared for. They had informed me well in advance. Everything was fine. So then I text them, and we had changed the format of the show a little bit. And like the last couple days of it, it was supposed to be 3 1-hour shows, but we had changed it to just one straight up show. But I didn't tell that to Custom and Mikey.
Yeah.
So their segment kind of got moved up a little bit. So
Which, by the way, was the right call. It
yes.
made the show so much. It made the show flow so much better.
So I had messaged Custom because the first match had started, and I said, "Hey, how you looking time wise?" And he was like, "I think we'll be there about 1:30." And I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be close."
Mhm.
So the segment was going to be that the ring truck, or sorry, the crew, because they've
The
dropped ring
crew.
truck now.
I'll tell a story about that later.
Mikey and Custom were going to run out to make a save for Kingsley, who was going to be in trouble from Stratos, and then to set up our main event. So it was a big segment. And then Isaiah Prince was involved, so it was going to be all three of them running out. The segment was all planned out, everything was good. I look at Prince and I'm like, we got two matches left until um, this segment's supposed to happen. I'm like, I don't think they're gonna make it in time. So Prince, can you cut the promo? He was good with it, and he ended up cutting the promo anyways. He did a great
Yeah.
job. He did a great promo. So it was kind of like right out of a movie because I had talked to Amanda who was in charge of doing the waivers, and I said, "Listen, like if you see these guys show up, we gotta get them up there, and this is gonna be cutting it close." So the Shiloh Kingsley match is happening, and they're probably about 5 minutes into the match, and I look up and I see Custom and Mikey start like coming into the building. I make eye contact with Amanda. We both start running, and I walk up. I go, "Hey guys, great to see you. You need to cut a promo in about 3 minutes, and you cannot step foot in the ring until you sign a waiver." So we all ran upstairs. Custom's so cool. Like he wasn't even phased by it. I'm stressed. Mikey's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah."
Custom has been wrestling since what, 96?
Yeah, he knew
Like
everything was
he knows.
he knew everything was going to be fine. But Kyle and Stratos don't know that they're here, so they're thinking it's just going to be Prince coming out. So I pick up the phone. I thought I was calling you. I called Jeremy. I realized it was Jeremy. I go, Jeremy, can you go over to Mike and tell him to very secretly tell Stratos and Kyle that the ring truck crew or the crew is here and that they will be running out for the segment, which you
Yeah.
proceeded to do. So we're upstairs, we're rushing through this form. Custom's like, okay, I'm ready. He just literally put on his shorts. He's like, I'm ready to go. Mikey's putting his boots on. And Custom's going, Mikey, what are you putting your boots on for? We're just doing a run-in. Custom goes, he goes, are we bumping it all? I said, I honestly don't even know what you guys are doing anymore.
Just fucking go.
Prince will fade. So Custom starts leaving. Mikey's tying his boots up. I walk over from the drop locker room. You can see the ring. And I poke my head out the window. I look and I can see Shiloh's hand being raised. And I turn around. I start running. I go, Mikey, we gotta fucking go. And Mikey and I are sprinting through the restaurant. We're like pushing old ladies out of the way, like stereotypical. Like
This is from a movie, yeah.
we
This is,
literally,
you called this your Home Alone moment.
I felt like I was running through the airport making my flight for Home Alone. The music was playing in my head.
Yeah. Just instead of Kevin, it's Mikey.
Mikey. So we get to what the gorilla position was. Custom has already been filled in by Prince of what's happening. We get out there. I go, go, go. Custom and Mikey go. They're just like, and they do the spot. Everything went off without a hitch. You would have never known, but it was
So
so
I
funny.
I want to tell my quick little story about that whole thing because it got a little funnier. Is just like you said, Jeremy walked up to me well because I was just standing by the way, our beautiful, amazing music woman Shelly. Let's give fucking props to Shelly.
She's
I was
phenomenal.
I was
And
standing
Brian.
beside and Brian, of course. I was standing beside Shelly watching the match, and Jeremy comes over to me and goes, RTC is here. I start laughing. I'm like, I know I saw them run out of their car. He goes, you need to let the talent know. I'm like, fuck. Okay. And they're everywhere. Like they're not stopping, right? I'm like, how am I going to do this? Okay. So I pretended like I was doing work. Like I think I was looking at my checklist. I'm walking around the ring so that the fans don't know anything, right? I get over to Stratos and I'm back to back with Stratos. And I kind of look over and I'm like, RTC is here. Did you hear me? And he no sells me. To this day, I don't know if he was just being a pro or if he didn't fucking hear me. So I'm like, I'm not taking this risk. I got to try again. Kyle's 5 feet away from me. I'm going to do it with Kyle. So I go over and I do the same thing. And I'm just hoping that he'll give me a little something, like a pinch or something to let me know that he heard me, right? So I get up, back to back. RTC is here, okay? I go to walk away. Kyle turns around. What? I'm like, fuck. So I melt the words. I'm like, RTC is here. And he goes, oh, okay.
Kyle is so funny. He's the funniest guy.
Made me laugh.
I was talking to him in the back and I said the same thing. I'm like, RTC. And he's like, RTC. I'm like, ring truck crew, custom mic. He's like, oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm like, what do you think I was talking about? Stevie Richards and Bull Buchanan? He's like, yeah, I thought you really
So
extended the budget.
I want to tell another story about RTC. I want to tell a story about a conversation that I had with Custom that was very funny. But I need to know. We should have talked about this off air, and I apologize. This involves a story about a mix up. Am I allowed to talk about that?
A mix up. Do
The
I know?
envelopes.
Um, no, I would kayfabe that.
Okay, so I'm not going to tell this story.
It's not a huge thing. Like yeah, it's not a huge thing. We just, yeah, I mean, whatever.
Can I tell the story? If you don't like it, you can edit it out.
All right, fine.
Okay. So before I tell the conversation with Custom, I'll tell the story. What happened earlier in the day? We did all the business stuff. Everybody got, paid for what they were supposed to get paid for, including the ring crew. Then Adam, Tyler gets a text from the gentleman who rented us the ring saying, "Hey man, the envelope was short," meaning we didn't pay him enough money. And that confused us because we know that we did our due diligence, we did our job right. Now, in the end, what happened was we had a tag team called the Ring Truck Crew, and they got their envelope instead. Honest mistake. It makes sense, right? It's funny. So later in the night, I'm talking to Custom, and I'm he's telling me that it was before they were about to go out, and I asked him all his information. I said, okay, so I'm just going to announce the three of you as the Ring Truck Crew. He goes, oh, no, 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 we're the crew now. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, I never knew that. He says, yeah, yeah. Ever since Crossbody died, he goes, we decided that, we're just going to be, the crew. We were the Ring Truck Crew because we always brought the ring to Crossbody. But for Rock Solid, we don't do that. I'm like, oh, okay. He goes, so me and Mikey were just the crew. I'm like, okay. And then I told him the story about the envelopes, and he dies laughing. He goes, well, Mikey, that solidifies it. He goes, we have our final reason to change our name. We are the crew. He goes, we never want to mix up like that again. I'm like, I'm almost surprised that's never happened before.
That's so funny. Yeah, that was a funny moment of the day. Everything was straightened out. There were no issues.
Mm-mm.
Everyone did a great job
It was
there.
a laughing moment. Everybody laughed. The ring guys laughed at it. The cowbell people laughed at it. It was all funny. It was. So you asked me my highlights, and I told a couple, even the backstage ones, that Bryce conversation, the all that. Those are my highlights. What was your big moment of the day?
Um, honestly,
Because you were a busy boy.
I want to put over the talent, and just for the effort that the talent put in. Um, they really were there for us, and I felt that.
This this could have been just another show to these guys. We are not wrestling promoters. We're just two guys who run a podcast and get lucky sometimes. And this is one of the times we got lucky by being able to do this show. They didn't owe us anything. We paid them money to come and wrestle, and that's they all they had. They did. Every single member of that locker room gave us extra. Every one of them. And I I'm forever in debt for that. You know what I mean? So you're 100% right. That locker room, I have no words for how they treated us that day.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was just trying to say there is they they just really went above and beyond to make the show a success.
Mhm.
I know that through working at Barry and getting to see a lot of these guys, I've built some relationships with a lot of the guys. Not that I'm going to say like we're tight and like oh we're best friends because I understand what our relationships are, but
Sure.
we're all very friendly and it's a pleasure to speak to these people and I always just say I have my baby toe dipped in the water, and I'm just really happy to have my foot in the water of being a ring announcer and just getting to live out that dream. And to for me, I just looked at it as like a huge validation, and I felt a lot of love and respect
Yes.
from the talent
So did I.
that they wanted this show to be such a success. They promoted the hell out of it on social media. They were great. I had multiple people message me throughout the week leading up, asking, is there anything we can do, giving me pointers as a first time promoter. Um, So yeah, it was all really nice, but for me, the absolute highlight is just the response to the show.
Mhm.
From not only
Everybody.
from a talent standpoint, and I'm not going to share who or names or anything like that, but I received more than one very, very kind message
Me too.
from the
Yeah.
talent just saying how much fun they had on the show and how well they were treated and how much they were happy and just to be a part of the show.
More than one
From
person came up to me during the day and said, "Are you guys doing this again?" And I said, "I hope so." And
from
they said,
a
"If you do, please call me."
from a
That goes a long way, man.
well, and it's something I take pride in too. Is so Cowbell Breweries, they're a major company. They're a huge brewery,
Mm.
very successful. They're not wrestling people, and they won't pretend to be. So
Yeah.
I don't think they knew fully what they were getting
Oth-
into with this event.
Other than Jeremy, I would go ahead and say that nobody else has ever even watched a wrestling match.
So Amanda has
Okay. Yeah.
Amanda's family. She told me we're big wrestling fans,
That's
so
not
they
awesome.
were all there and excited.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, but I don't think they knew the passion that wrestling fans bring and the excitement and to have a bunch of the Cowbell staff come up to us and just say this is one of the best events we've ever put on.
I got that many times.
Thank you for everything.
This
there's nothing set in stone, but there is a very
interest. Yeah.
there is a possibility that this could become an annual thing, and that's what we hope for. And if not,
Yeah.
what a cool event that we got to put on.
If it doesn't happen, no regrets because we have this under our belts and we can talk about this for the rest of our lives. Do I want it to happen? Do I want it to be an annual thing? Of course I do. I'm so proud of this show that I would do this every year, no problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was
And
cool.
and and the longer it goes, the bigger it could get, right? Like we can get, you know,
Who
cooler
knows?
shows.
Who
Who knows?
knows? Who knows? But yeah,
All right.
that's my cowbell experience, and
Yeah.
thank
If
you to
you guys,
everybody.
if there's any store,
Sold out show, by the way.
I'm sorry. So,
Legitimate sellout. Ricky
no,
Morton
no, no,
hanging from the rafters.
no, no, no. This wasn't a sellout. This was a double sellout. They
Yeah.
sell they sold so many fucking tickets that they had to change things, put more tickets on, and then sold out again. I had announced the day before the show that I'm like, okay, tickets are sold out, but you can get tickets at the door. We sold so many tickets that you couldn't get tickets at the door. That's how crazy the show was.
Yep.
Had a lot of talks with the guys running it, and they're already brainstorming on how to be able to legally sell more tickets. Because the only reason we sold out is because we weren't legally allowed to sell more tickets. Next year, who knows? So if you're listening to this show, if you're a fan, you want to know more about this show, if there's anything we didn't answer, you want to know about, you know, the workings of Cowbell, please give us a shout. Comment on this wherever you're listening to it. Send us a DM. Talk in our Discord. I'll check it every once in a while. Let us know what you want to know about Cowbell Championship Wrestling because I'll answer every question you have. So will Tyler. I want to talk about this till the day I die. I fucking guarantee we will be talking about this show in December on our year end show.
I hope so. It's a cool moment.
So talk about um ask us all the questions that you want answered on our year end show. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to wrap this up because we have some other things to talk about. We are talking to the Hardy Boys next week. And a few weeks ago, maybe even months ago at this point, you created a list called the top 7 cinematic matches of all time.
Correct.
I mentioned earlier that sometimes things just happen for a reason. I think there's a reason why we sat on this list for so long. We were waiting for the right moment. And here's the right moment, sir, because the men who made the cinematic match popular and just so iconic were the Hardy Boys.
Absolutely, they
No,
were.
I'm telling you right now, without and I'm not just gonna give the Hardy Boys props here. I'm gonna give Jeremy Borash props here as well because he had a lot to do with this. Without the Hardys and without Jeremy Borash, I don't think I think WrestleMania 2020, whatever, 30, 38, whatever the fuck, 36, 36.
Something like that.
Yeah. I think it looks a lot different. Like a lot different. You know what I mean? I don't think we get the Firefly Funhouse match. I don't think Vince, gets on board with that kind of match or with the Boneyard match if the final deletion match didn't happen first. You know what I
Well,
mean?
let me ask you a trivia question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know when the first cinematic type match ever took place was? Do you know
It
what it
all
was?
depends on what you consider cinematic, I suppose. Um, some people would say that those empty arena matches could be considered that, but I don't. Did you did you consider those when you did your list?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Because otherwise we would just talk about Terry Funk versus
Then
Jerry Lawler the whole time.
then I'm right. Then I'm sure I'm wrong, but I'm just as my guess, I'm gonna put I'm gonna say the backlot brawl from WrestleMania 12.
Okay. The first cinematic match that I could find any indication of actually
Mm-hmm.
happened in 1987.
Mm-hmm.
And it was between
What promotion?
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
That tracks. Okay.
It was between Antonio Inoki and oh God, Masa Seato, and it was the Ga Gangumi Island Death Match. I did not say that right.
Oh,
That's me.
I think I might have seen that. Yeah, okay.
I doubt you've seen the whole match because it is like 90 minutes and it's
Oh,
not
I
very
definitely
good.
didn't see it then. Okay, that's not what I was thinking
I
about.
watched some clips of it and it's pretty much just these guys got taken to a nuclear island. Like it was like a something like that and they just beat each other up and it was
It wasn't the
not
White Castle of Fear, was it?
it was not the White Castle affair. So needless to say, the match was not widely regarded as a classic and it will not be on my list.
Are
But
we only talking matches? Does the Castle of Fear count just like from promo standpoints?
no, it does not
No,
count because also
because
number one, spin the
but
wheel, make the deal. All those
there's no
WCW,
Hulkamaniacs in here.
all those WCW vignettes would be on there. So I'm not gonna break all these down like crazy, especially because I watch all these like a month and a half to 2 months ago, so I forget a
Mm.
lot of my notes that I had. But I'm just gonna go with what I thought was fun here. Now, I don't know why I decided I wanted to go back and watch cinematic
You know,
matches. I think I was
I have no recollection of why
I
you
think I
would
was
go
drinking
cinematic.
one night and I was like
That
and
makes sense.
for some reason that Money in the Bank cinematic match came into my head and I was like, man, I think that match was kind of fun. I'm gonna start watching it. And I'm like, I'm gonna make a
Oh, the one that Otis won?
yeah, and I'm like, I'm
It's
gonna
so
start
funny
making a
because when
list.
can I be honest with you? When I started like researching and thinking about that match didn't even come to my mind.
For good reason. It was not great at all. But I
Didn't they kill Rey Mysterio in that match?
no, he lost an eye later, like in a different
No,
show.
no, didn't Braun throw him off a fucking building?
Oh, they might have actually.
Yeah.
But if the giant could survive, so could Ray. So, stupidly enough, I decided to go back and watch every single match that I could find cinematic wise,
I
and
love how you say stupidly.
here we are. Because a lot of these are not as good as I remember them being. Some of them were surprisingly good. Um, but we'll start with number seven. Number seven, I'm going to take us to AEW, and it is the return to the wrestling world of Sting. Sting and Darby Allin against Brian Cage and Ricky Starks from Revolution.
Okay. I
It
never
was
watched this.
it was actually a really fun match. It was like in like a warehouse. I'd never watched it until recent, like this one, and it was just fun. Darby did some crazy spots, jumping out windows and stuff. There was like he got thrown around a lot, but I thought this would be it for Sting, and I thought, oh yeah, Sting's back, a cinematic match that's perfect for him. And it ended up that he had an incredible run after this with Darby, and his run lasted a couple years, but this was his first match back, and it was entertaining enough for me to put on the list.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I've never seen the match, so
It was actually one of the better ones.
all right.
Number six is where I'm gonna start catching heat already from everybody. I'm going for the Firefly Funhouse.
Oh, all right. I'm not gonna give you heat because I want to see the rest of your list, but I'm surprised.
This is not as good as everybody remembers it being. And
I watched it a month ago. I disagree.
it is highly entertaining.
Yes, that which is the fucking point.
There were parts of it that were really, really good, but I think people romanticize this better than what it really was. But this was fun. It was
Do you,
list worthy, but I
here's a
just think
question, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody, but do people romanticize it because Bray has left us?
no,
Or
I think people
no?
just I think it's just because it was the first time that it was ever done on WWE, like this
Right.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
because like the Boneyard was the night before,
Mm,
but this was the first time that they went crazy like this.
yeah. I would say
And
the Boneyard was their first real cinematic match. Like,
but this was like the craziest thing that WWE had ever done. So like, and it was fine. It was fun. Cena was fun in it, but it just I don't know. It's just a little too goofy for me, I guess.
okay.
But it's list worthy. Number five, I'm going for my deep cut of the list.
All right.
And I wanted to just make this my number one because I actually love this so much, but it's just not number one. Um, no, you know what? I'm making a change. I'm making an audible on the fly. On the
Okay.
fly. On the fly. I'm going with the Boneyard match as my number five.
I was so excited to know what that was.
Well,
No,
now you're gonna have to wait till
I
number
have to
four.
wait.
Now you're gonna wait till number
Okay, so
four.
it's my okay. All right, that's not a long wait. I thought you were moving it to your number one.
No, no, no. Top three are set. Um,
Okay.
yeah, number five, we're going Boneyard match, Undertaker, AJ Styles,
Again,
WrestleMania.
I gotta hear the rest of your match. This match is great. I love this fucking match.
It doesn't hold up. I watched this match. You know what this match reminded me of? And I love The Undertaker and I really love AJ Styles, but
And
and Gallus and Anderson are in
yes, they
there.
were great in this
They were
match.
fun and you know they when they were actually wrestling it was good and like it was violent or whatever. But
Hmm.
the one thing about it, and it took me right out of the match. Were you a UFC fan back in the day?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Yes, of course I was.
Did you ever
Yeah.
watch like have you ever watched Tito Ortiz try to talk smack? And like Ken Shamrock. Like, have you ever
Yeah.
watched like
No, Ken. Oh, Ken was the worst. Ken was worse than Tito.
they?
Yeah.
So, do you remember when they feuded and they would try to talk smack to each other, and it
Yeah.
just it
Yeah.
just felt
It was
like
just
two like old men that didn't know how to talk smack to each other. Not that they were
yeah.
old at the time, but like you know, like
No, they
old men,
weren't, but yeah.
like out of touch.
But
That's
they
what.
had five brain cells between them.
Well, unfortunately, AJ Styles and The Undertaker are not good at smack talk. And the
No,
whole
they're not.
match was get up, old man, and how you feeling, Alan? Like it was just and it really was so
Yeah.
bad that it hurt the match for me. I'm not gonna lie. And I guarantee you now, anybody listening to this that goes back and watches the
Yeah,
Boneyard match,
yeah.
all you're going to think about is, man, this is really bad smack talk. And it took me, it literally took this out of the top three because of the smack talk. It was that bad.
Okay. That's probably fair. All right.
But let's go to the deep cut, number four.
Okay. I
The
want to know your deep cut.
the deep cut is we're going back to 1998. We're going to
Is this
fully loaded. It is
oh,
the dungeon match between Ken Shamrock
this
and
doesn't
Owen
no,
Hart.
I call bullshit on this is not a cinematic match.
Why is it not a cinematic match?
It's
It
just a
happened in
wrestling match
the
that happened without a crowd. Then if you're not counting empty arena matches, then you can't count this. This is not a
why?
cinematic match. This is just a match that happened that a crowd wasn't there.
What do you
No,
mean? This
no,
is
no,
this is
no.
totally a cinematic
It
match.
is not.
It happened in a basement.
Listen. I'm a massive Owen Hart mark. Okay. I want nothing more than to talk about this match. How often we never talk. This is the first time in history we've talked about this match on the
It's
show.
so
I
good.
want to talk about this match all day and all night. But does it belong on this list? I don't think so.
Fine. I
Maybe
will I will call an audible on the
it's your list. Do what you
no,
want.
fine. I'll call an audible on the list, and I'm going to put the entire series of Backyard Pro Wrestling on my list. All the Ontario guys getting together.
The
Yeah,
COVID.
the entire series, number four.
So somewhere Holden Albright has an erection and he doesn't know why. He's so happy to hear that.
Detect-
Holy shit, man. That I love that. That anybody who hasn't seen that, I don't know if it's still like out
It's
there.
all on
Like
YouTube.
it's all on YouTube. It was the first thing, the first time in the infancy of our program. I think we were a year or two old, not even 2 years old. And I had Holden Albright on the show. One of the first things I had to ask him about was Backyard Pro because it's just so stupid and funny. And I grew up, both of us grew up in the backyard. I started backyard wrestling in 1994 and didn't stop until way later than I should have. So this is cool for me. I love Backyard Pro. I'm very cool with you putting this on your list.
That's my audible then.
It's not cinematic, but
They're
it
all
doesn't.
those are all cinematic matches. They fight in a fucking cottage. They're cinematic.
I I had a match. I had a match in my backyard days because I was a huge fan of the Boiler Room Brawl. So we did a basement room brawl where we just beat the fuck out of each other all over my buddy's basement, and then to win, because you know how in the Boiler Room Brawl you had to um go to the ring and get the urn, right?
Yeah.
Well, for us, the championship was hanging in the ring outside in the backyard. So you had to fight out of the basement, through the house, out of the house, into the ring, and get the title. And we didn't have a ladder, so we used a trash can. We didn't have ladder matches. We had trash can matches. Horrible stuff. So that was our version of a cinematic match, all the way back in 1997.
Well, that one did not make
Yeah.
my list, unfortunately. Number three, we're gonna start talking about our guests next week.
Okay, here we
We're
go.
gonna we're
This
gonna
is where the
go.
list. This is where the list starts for me. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna go with the Ultimate Deletion, the first one that Matt and Jeff did against each other.
Okay. I have no idea what the fuck you're number one into. If the wow, okay. If your number one isn't the Firefly, I easy for me to say the Firefly match or this match, I have no idea what we're talking about here today because this match, I consider this to be the greatest cinematic match of all time.
It's so
Okay,
good. It's
I just want to
real.
listen to you. Okay,
It's really, really good, and they did a lot of groundbreaking stuff.
I remember ending this match going, "What the fuck did I just watch?" Because I
Mhm.
wasn't watching TNA at the time.
No, this got a lot of people watching TNA again.
And, and I didn't watch it live. And then somebody called me. I don't remember who. It was a buddy of mine called me and said, "Did you see this?" And I said, "No." I watched it and I finished it going, "What the fuck was that? That was weird. That wasn't wrestling. That was bullshit." 15 minutes later, I watched it again and then again, and it became my favorite match of 2016.
Yeah, it was
Like,
really, really good.
it changed the way I looked at wrestling and what you could do with wrestling.
However,
This changed the landscape of professional wrestling.
in my opinion, it wasn't the best
Okay.
Hardy's compound match that they've done. Because my number two is
Okay.
the tag team Apocalypto
Really?
match.
Listen, this is my number three. This is I put this number three. This is not usurp the original. I love this match, mind you. They killed Crazy Steve.
Yeah.
They snapped Crazy Steve's neck in half. They murdered him. It's one of my favorite. I remember watching that going, what did I just watch a murder? Like, what the
Like
fuck are they doing?
the Rock and
Every
Roll Express are in this
yes.
match. The cameo of the Hurricane Helms. I just thought that this match was so fun and so entertaining. And not to take away from the Ultimate Deletion match, but I was much more entertained throughout this entire match. Just everything hit for me in this match.
Okay.
But the number one, what is my number one, Mike? You have no idea, eh?
I don't.
This is a match that I guarantee you've never watched, and I guarantee you have to watch it. And it
Okay.
is the very first ever Stadium Stampede match in AEW.
Oh
It
no,
it is.
I have seen it.
This match is
It's definitely not my number one.
it
I
is so
I think
good.
this is the most overrated. It might. I'm trying to think of what you left off the list to even
I've
consider if it
got
would be my number seven. I
I've
I
got a list.
I don't hate. I don't fucking hate it, but I don't.
The spots in this
It is
match.
not what
No,
what
it's
you.
it is when
I don't
number
look at
one
it
with a
the.
bullet.
I cannot look at it through your eyes. Let's say that much.
There are a bunch of little things that I like in this match. This match felt like a cinematic match because it had stupid stuff, it had crazy stuff, it had funny stuff. Like one of the spots is Matt Jackson. He starts doing a Northern Light suplex in the end zone because we're on a football field, right?
Mhm.
So he does a Northern Light suplex on an end zone and he rolls over and does another one and another one. And then the camera cuts away to some other stuff. It does some other stuff. Then it cuts back to Matt, who is still doing Northern Lights suplexes, but now he's on like the 50-yard line. So
Yeah,
they're making it seem like, and they cut away again, and then he ends up Northern suplexing him all the way across the field, technically. Like they don't show it,
yeah,
obviously. And then it's a touchdown because he like puts them into the end zone. Little
yeah,
stuff like that is what I love in cinematic matches. The
yeah.
stuff with Matt Hardy and LAX, Ortiz, and Santana when they keep throwing him in the pool and he like keeps reincarnating into different versions of Matt Hardy
I
and
love that. Yeah,
and the water only comes up to your waist. So like Santana's in the pool and he's like, Ortiz, get in here. And Ortiz is like, I can't swim, man. And it's like the water's up to your knees. Like it's like all that stuff is great. The finish is crazy with Kenny hitting that big one wing angel off of the like the bleachers into
yeah.
the whatever pad. Hangman sitting in the bar drinking with Jake Swagger and having a huge barroom brawl. I just thought
You
the
had it.
way this match was
Oh,
laid out and all the spots in it, it all worked together so well.
okay,
And I
sure.
love football and I love wrestling and I'm ready for some football coming up soon.
Me too. And I
But
and yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I have to go rewatch it. Maybe it's my current hate for AEW that stopped me. But I don't remember watching it going, yeah, this is better than anything else.
I think this is number one with a bullet.
Okay.
Like it
No.
wasn't even close for me. This never swayed for being my number one.
I think the first final deletion match is far superior to to
I
this one.
mean, to each their own. I won't
To
fight
each
you
of
on
their
it
own.
because
Agreed.
it is incredible. I'll give you my honorable mentions quick.
Yeah.
One that you're probably hot isn't on the list is the Hollywood Backlot Brawl.
I'm not hot on the list because I still go back and forth on whether or not I consider it a cinematic match, anyways, because half of it is in the crowd, half of it is in the back, half or the a section of it is just old OJ footage.
It's just not. It's a miss. It's a miss for me. The whole
See, it's
thing's
not.
a miss for me
I
because
love the match. I love everything about it. I'm that weird guy who loved WrestleMania 12 in general.
yeah, fair,
And I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm a little bit of a Roddy Piper mark.
fair
So,
enough. I mean, not my cup of tea.
Roddy coming out of retirement to do this match with who I consider one of the greatest Intercontinental champions of all time, Dustin Rhodes. This match, he hit him with the car for real.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Piper couldn't jump high enough. Like he,
yeah,
um,
like fuck.
both boiler room brawl matches in the WWE, Mankind and
Again,
Undertaker.
I didn't know if this counted. The second one can suck a dick,
Yeah,
but
not great.
the
I mean, I
first
think they did
one.
three total. I think Mankind fought the Mean Street Posse and one on
Oh
SmackDown
my
as well,
god!
but
Yeah,
I
I think I
didn't.
remember. Yeah, the first one though, I do consider one of my favorite matches of that era of professional wrestling. That new generation era, which I love. Everybody knows that Mankind feud, that initial Undertaker Mankind feud is one of my favorite feuds of all time.
Mhm.
They're everybody, you can talk about their Hell in the Cell shit all you want, but that initial feud, that first feud, their boiler room brawl, their buried alive match, their everything they did in between. That's my shit. That's what I thrived on. I love that stuff.
Um, this one wasn't a match, so it couldn't make the list, but Steve Austin and Booker T in the supermarket.
I have something like that as well that couldn't make a list because it's not a real match. But that falls in line with the White Castle of Fear, right? If we're talking about all cinematic stuff, of course that would go on the list.
And my last honorable mention was so terrible it was never going to make the list, but the King of the Road match between Dustin Rhodes and the Blacktop Bully.
Okay, so funny enough that I was thinking a lot about that over the weekend. You have a running gag over the last couple months calling me Mike Russo because of my love for gimmick matches, and I may have pitched a couple of gimmick matches for Cowbell.
A couple.
And
Every single pitch you had to be a
that's
gimmick.
not true. but every time I did, you would be like, "Oh, here comes Mike Russo." So when we arrived at Cowbell, the first thing I seen was that we are surrounded in cornfield. And I start laughing to myself. I'm like, well, I feel Mike Russo coming out. I said, and in my head, I said, I want to do the King of the Road match, but it's a fucking corn maze match. And I just
Well,
couldn't tell you because I knew how that would turn out.
yeah, because I would have put you in the car and put you on a timeout.
My only honorable mention that you haven't mentioned, again, doesn't make the list because of what you said. It's not technically a match. But if we weren't just doing matches, we were just doing cinematic style, if that's what this list was, this would be my number one. And that's all of Lucha Underground.
Fair.
Even their matches in the arena, even when the crowd involved, it had a cinematic feel. Everything about Lucha Underground felt cinematic. Everything. We talk about, a match like the Apocalypto match where somebody died. Steve had his neck snapped. In Lucha Underground, we once seen a guy get his face eaten by a dragon.
Sounds like they had it coming.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if Mickey James can get pushed in front of a train, then why not eat your face with a dragon?
Yes. It was Lucha Underground is to this day one of my favorite things in professional wrestling. If we did a list of like what keeps you a fan, what's your top 7 reasons to be a wrestling fan, Lucha Underground and Wrestling Society X are both on my list because they're the most insane, stupid, funny fucking things. It's everything wrestling is supposed to be to me.
Well, if you want to learn all the backstage stuff, go and check out our friend Jonah's side podcast he does with Marty Elias, going underground. They've it's all about Lucha Underground, all the backstage stuff. So it's a really cool show.
All right, man. Like
That's
I said,
it.
if anybody has any questions about Cowbell Wrestling, shout us out. Give us an email, give us a DM, comment on anywhere you're watching the show, and we will get back to you. We have that much time in our lives, and then we'll definitely talk about it on the show. I never want to stop talking about Cowbell Wrestling because I loved this weekend so much. I loved everybody that was involved. I know we forgot some people, and I apologize to anybody we didn't name drop, but every single person that was involved in the show deserves recognition. Every wrestler, every member of the Cowbell staff, every person that came out just to support us. Brian Weiss is probably the most, and I'm not just, this is not wrestling I'm talking about in general. He's probably the most talented photographer I've ever met.
He's
And when I
phenomenal.
say talented, I don't just mean talented, I mean passionate. The love and care he puts into his work and to his pictures is unmatched. Nobody does that. Nobody puts that kind of love into it like Brian does. So the fact that he volunteered, he just said, listen, I don't care if you're going to pay me if you're not going to pay me. I'm coming to your show and I'm going to shoot that show. He showed up and he did that. And I love Brian for it. His wife, Shelly, is our music lady, and she was phenomenal. So Shelly and Brian deserve double shout outs because I love them both to death.
Absolutely.
Wilson, we already shouted out. Adam was shouted out. The entire crew. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, wrestlers, for bringing your family. Bryce had his family there. Kyle had his family there, which led to some really funny moments. To the people who were so nice to us backstage, to Custom and his amazing wife Yarrow, who just had amazing conversations with us for hours after the show. Didn't make this feel like work at all. Never once did I feel like I was working. This
Lord
was
knows I did.
always fun.
I had to run up and down that flight of stairs one more time. Let me tell you, I gassed out, brother.
We should have switched. I could have used the exercise. I need to drop 45 pounds. All right. So next week, the most decorated tag team in wrestling history will be here. I can't believe I'm saying these words. Tyler versus the Hardy Boys next week.
TLC match.
Make sure you make sure, except for this time, the tables is the T is for Tyler, not for tables.
That's right.
Make sure you tune in next week. Make sure you check out all the social medias for both us and Cowbell and all the wrestlers who were involved, because there are pictures and videos floating everywhere for this event. So check it out. Let me know what you think. If you were there, if you were at this show and you were listening now, send us a DM. Tell us what you thought about the show. Tell us all your thoughts. We love you. Thank you so much for coming. Anything left for you to say, Tyler?
Nothing from me, brother.
All right. Until next time, I still have a fever, but you've been counted out.
Cheers.